Good evening. Happy Monday to you from us on Family Media. We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio. I'm laughing because I got something wrong, but I promise you're on. Now I have the correct word. Today is the 1st of October, which means the International Day for the Elderly or the older persons. So we look at how we take care of the people in our lives who are beyond, say, the age of 65. How do we take care of them to make sure they are okay? So I have amazing people. One, I'm so excited she made it. That's a Grace Moshuha, who's a psychologist. Karibu sana. We also have Mwakisha Maganga, a financial consultant. Thank you so much. And then we have the lady whose name is a bit tough, but we're going to get it. Gertruda Chemirmir, who's the director of the Pinnacle Home Health Services. Karibuni sana. I'm so glad you came.
Thank you.
So I'll start with the young person. Mr. Young Person. Have you done anything right now in your active years to secure your older age? Are you doing something now?
Yes, there's so much I'm doing right now.
Okay. Reveal without revealing?
Well, I can reveal.
Okay.
Number one thing which I do, and I do it constantly, is taking care of my health.
Okay.
Yeah. Continuously exercising, continuously reading, continuously thinking about the future, continuously. You know, health is not all about exercising. It's about knowledge. It's about your peace of mind, your family, yourself, and everything else. So that wholesome kind of health is what I'm doing to make sure the future is secure. That's one thing people ignore, actually. They ignore their bodies, and later on they come and realize, oh, I should have done this. I've not been eating this. I should have been eating that, and so on and so on.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm thinking about all the food choices that were wrong that I made. But let me ask you, Gertruda, what are you also doing? Same question to you. What have you done to make sure that the years, they're called the golden years, for you are secure?
Well, George has it right. The first thing is, of course, definitely health. But these days there's a big element of stress. So the aspect of trying to control our stress levels are so important. And I'm really trying to do that.
Okay.
In so many aspects. Going to the gym, yes. Diet, yes. Trying to deal with and knowing how to say no when you can't, which is really, really always a hard part, because we always want to accommodate so many aspects or so many things that come our way. But just having that, two-letter word, no, when you can't, very important.
Okay. And then I'll get to the lovely lady who was just inspiring all of us, Grace. Grace, you're ever happy every time I meet you. You're ever happy. You look like you're very comfortable with yourself. So how would you describe where you're at right now, your space in life? How are you doing today?
I would describe my life as good, because at 73, I feel healthy.
Okay.
As my brother said here, you are what you eat. If you want to prepare for your old age, you should eat well, you should exercise, you should be social with the others, and we should by interacting and doing your work, whatever you do it very well.
Okay.
And most of all, eat well, exercise.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's something she mentioned, the stresses of life. How have you avoided that? Because let me tell you right now, your skin looks amazing. So how have you avoided the stresses of life?
I have not always been like this.
Okay.
Right now, I don't have kids to look after.
Okay.
It's me and my husband, and he doesn't give me stress. Most of ladies get stress from their husbands or their loved ones, or their spouses.
Okay.
He doesn't give me any stress. Whatever we get, we eat, and we eat in peace.
Okay.
So there is no really stress. Besides that, I exercise a lot.
Okay.
I do my aerobics 3 times a week for 1 hour.
So
I take
3
1
times a
hour
week,
to do
1
3
hour
times.
each.
Yes.
Okay.
So that keeps me well fit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That explains this. George, we were having a discussion over the weekend about your own mom. So having seen your mom up to where she is right now, what are some of the challenges you have noticed that she's facing? Not her specifically, but people who are a bit older. What challenges do they face?
Okay. If I can probably give an example of my mom, probably I can say my mom, right now there's a part of loneliness, right? That feeling of being alone, whereby the children are far away from her, doing stuff. So she didn't have that. Well, apart from, of course, the mobile phones, the technology has made it easier for us to connect with our parents compared to probably earlier in the days. People could usually connect with their parents through letters and stuff like that. So that way, they say communication is halfway meeting. So for that, probably it has reduced. But again, the personal touch is very important.
Okay.
Right? So for that alone, I can say probably that's one of the biggest challenges I can see with our elderly parents. Most of them, they have that loneliness. Yes, that's one of the major challenges.
Okay. And to you, you work with them every single day. What are some of the challenges they face?
The biggest one is actually loneliness. It's amazing how he just zeroed in on that.
Yeah.
Because we've failed as a society. We should have been at a place where we have centers, for the elderly to go and socialize. I think in every residential area, we should have had different places that that they could go and do things together.
Okay.
Whether it is games, whether it's a library for them to get together, whether it is whatever it is, like in the first world countries. Because exactly what George said, everybody is so busy. So even if you can call them, how long are you going to speak with them? Half an hour? 1 hour? How long? I mean, it would need like maybe you have 12, 13 people in a household and everybody's doing that every day. So it's hard. It's heartbreaking when you walk into a home and you find someone seated by himself. Or even if he has, somebody a helper, that's all he sees every day. They don't go out, and maybe they do go out maybe on the weekend, because it really depends on the dynamics of the family. Are the children abroad? Are they here? Do they have their own businesses? Are they employed? There's so many dynamics. So what happens? We leave them by themselves.
Okay.
And it's the biggest problem.
Okay. So when you were talking, I was thinking of my grandmother and how often I talk to her. So is it that we are too busy, or is it the urban rural migration thing happening, the rural urban rather, where we all came to the urban centers to look for jobs?
Yes.
So what we do is that every end month we send an M-Pesa, we send a few coins here and there. At most you'll go visit them with a bag of shopping. Is that it?
Yeah. And that's the convenient part, where you say, okay, what I can do is let me M-Pesa my 5,000, my 3,000, my 10,000. But they miss out on that contact.
Okay.
That and to be honest, yes, these days life, I keep saying Kenya is like the US these days. There's no difference. It's high paced. It's really high paced. So you find you get married, you have your kids, you have your job, and everybody is just running.
Okay.
It's become a rat race. So by the time you think, okay, let me go home, to see my granny or to see my elderly dad, it takes a moment.
Okay.
It really takes a moment. And to be honest, they also don't want to come. They really don't want to come to Nairobi. If you've noticed, Nairobi to them is this place that is so stressful. They don't want to come. And when they come, they want to go back.
Exactly.
Yes.
They don't, and for us, we're like, we try to insist for them to stay here, but they don't want to stay. Because for them, they have the peace, that tranquility, the serenity of being in the village, isn't it? Here, it's all high-paced. And anyway, even if they're here, what happens? You still leave in the morning, and you come back, and you come back in the evening.
Yes.
What's the difference?
And leave the TV on.
Exactly. And for them, they're not even TV people.
Yes.
They are so used to going out, sitting in the sun or going to look at their cattle or their, it's a different. By the time you get to that point where you just want peace, sitting in front of a TV, that's the last thing. Maybe you want to do it at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, to catch the news, But literally, that's not what you want to do during the whole day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am ashamed. Grace, let me ask you, have you seen these with people, say, who are closer to your age, say they don't have a husband or they don't have a wife? Do you see them suffering from loneliness?
Yes, I have seen them.
Okay.
But let me first comment on what she said.
Go ahead.
When she says that they don't want to stay in Nairobi, the reason is, if you bring your old person in Nairobi, you are reducing their days.
Okay.
Because in the villages, they have their friends. What they like is that Mama so-and-so to come, I make tea, we have a cup of tea, we chat, and by the time Mama so-and-so goes, another Mama so-and-so has come,
Yes.
and their day is over.
Okay.
That to them,
Yes.
and that is what I mentioned about being social. The social life in the village is very rich for them. But when you come and leave them in Nairobi, in your house, who do they know in that estate? Who do they chat with? So that is why they don't like, not that they don't like to stay, that is the reason why.
Okay.
Now, there are people of my age, especially those who have lost their spouses. They are some of them are very, very lonely. If they lose their spouses when they have an empty nest, it is even worse.
Okay.
Because it means they are at home alone. The life they used to have is gone. In the evening, they have nobody to talk to. In Nairobi, and most of us are in Nairobi, everybody is busy. It's not where you say Mama so-and-so is coming. No, we are busy people.
Okay. True.
So you may stay for a week without having a visitor in your house.
A week? It could go even for a month.
Even for a month.
Yeah.
But for people of my age, maybe a week.
Okay.
We do visit each other.
Okay.
And we have women groups. That's what really helps us. If you go to this group this day, tomorrow you are in another group and so on. If for a week you have 3 groups, that keeps you going.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. I understand that.
Yeah.
George is looking at you like he's dreading his ears. It's coming. It's coming.
No, for mom, she just brings the aspect of how our parents are feeling. Some of the things we actually ignore them. And just to pick up from the M-Pesa thing she has said.
Yes.
When we send an M-Pesa to our parents, and I want you to just visualize the moment when you actually meet her and give her the same amount of money. Where do you feel the connection?
Yeah. When they, grab your hand and they bless it.
They bless you and they, they so appreciate it.
Yes.
When we send them M-Pesa, they will receive, they say thank you.
Yeah.
But there's that personal touch which is missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for those people who think that sending their parents money, it's enough.
The convenient thing to do.
It's the convenient thing to do.
Yes. And some they even send the care package with everything that they need, then they put it on a bus and it gets to your mom.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll also be talking about their physical health, how they go through that and how they can overcome them, and also tell the person watching and listening how to make it easier. We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, talking about how to take care of the elderly persons in our families. And before we even get to anything else, we had one of our producers talk to you on the street to ask you how you take care of the elderly people in your family, and this is what you had to say. Okay, as we wait for that, maybe we can get to another question, and I can ask you, Grace, there's something you explained to us in regards to our attitude as young people. Please explain that to us so that we get it very clearly.
Yeah, I was saying the attitude of the young people of today is different from our attitude when we were young.
Okay.
Or when we left home. Because at least we made sure that we have seen our parents once a month.
Okay.
These days, I think people stay even for a year. Once you get your family, it's like it is I, me, myself, and my family. You do not think about the parents.
Okay.
That is the origin. And by the way, that's where you get your blessings. If you go to see your parents, every time you go to see your parents, they bless you.
Mm.
And the way you progress, even in your life, depend on those blessings. Therefore, it is good for young people to try and look after their parents.
Okay.
When my parents died, we were satisfied people that we have done our best. I wonder whether today the young people would say that.
Okay.
As my parents go, I am at peace that I have done my best.
Yeah. Okay.
I looked after my in-laws, the two of them, in my house until they went to be with the Lord. My father-in-law for a year, my mother-in-law for 1.5 years, until they went to be with the Lord. There was a time they were the two of them. And I know how to look after old people.
Okay.
From that.
Okay.
And I have a heart for old people. Because I started from when I was young. In the villages, my mom would tell us, go and draw water for that old mom, go and get firewood for that old mom. And my heart went to old people from very young age. And I thank my mom for that.
Okay.
Yes.
That explains it. I was saying, you know, she has such a good energy around her. And I understand the video is ready. So just before we play it, it's a question on how do you take care of the elderly people in your life? And this was gotten from you as you're just going about your life. Then somebody asked you that question.
What I think, elderly, when that's why they are elderly, it's because they're just like children again. So when you are taking care of them, you should take that in consideration, that they're just like children, and they need more love than even children, because they, even though they don't talk about these things, but they have seen you through, and now they are, the times are changing. Now they are depending on you.
Mzazi ili uweze kumsaidia ni lazima uwe kwanza mwenye umemheshimu. Kwangu nitarudi katika maandiko matakatifu kwa Biblia. Ephesians chapter 6 mstari wa kwanza kwa inaelezea juu ya watoto wawapenda wawaheshimu wazazi wao ili waweze kuishi maisha mengi hapa duniani. Na kazi watakaozifanya, mambo watakaoyafanya yaweze kuwa na baraka kwao, ama iweze kutimia mapenzi yao. Na kwa hivyo chenye kimefika tumefika wakati huu, it is because people are not respecting their parents. That's why you see they are not even ready to support them in any way. Kila mtu anasema ya kwamba maisha ni yangu, mama alinizaa, amenilea, baba amenilea, amenisomesha, sasa ni juu yake ajisukume na maisha yake. But that is not the intention of our God. The intention is to respect our parents so we can be able to support them.
Listen to them and help them working out or doing some stuff. Yeah.
So like my parents right now, they're young, they're energetic. They'll get older, just like us. We'll also get older. So like when they're older, they don't have as much energy. So you need to be prepared when they get older. You need to know where you're going to get your career income from, how you're going to get yourself started, how you're going to build yourself first, because you can't support your parents before you support yourself.
At home, there are usually some small chores which I'm supposed to do. So I usually help them out, such as cleaning, washing the dishes, and also even when we have a problem, we usually sort it together as a family.
Okay, I believe in helping out. First of all, when, let's say, I become successful, I believe in sharing my success with my parents, because first of all, they are the ones that helped me achieve this success.
Okay, I think taking care of people could mean spending time with them. I think if you spend time with them, encourage them, because as people grow older, they get lonely. So I think the most important thing is spending time with them and knowing what they need, because it's not necessarily money or material things. So I think it's getting to talk with them and, yeah.
We can give them moral support by like stories, how we can ask for them the stories, and then also the things at home. We can also always help them, like taking care of the sheep, the goats, and all those small chores at home.
I have chores at home, so I have to make sure I've done them. I make sure that what they're eating is healthy, because at times yeah, and then I also make sure that they get the time they deserve to be, okay, like, yes, they are my parents, but I also make sure that they have their own time, so I kind of like take charge and I make sure that everything is okay with the business, the house, yeah.
I think there's a lot of hope. There are two young ladies who said one spend time with them as opposed to giving them material things, and the other said sometimes they take charge. But there's something, and this touches on what you do, Mwakisha. Yes. Well, we talk about the finances, and we mentioned it's sending the M-Pesa, but for the people who are, I'm looking at between the age of maybe 25 to 50, so you're still in your active years, you can still make money. What can you do to make sure you have enough money for yourself? Because remember, you'll have kids, and then you'll have your elderly parents. So there are two groups of people depending on you. So how do you make sure you secure that financially?
Okay. I'm going to come up with a very controversial approach.
Just please make sure we have a show by the time you're done.
Yes.
Yes.
So, as you say, the most active age of someone is between, well, of course, the youth age, and then after campus, someone gets a job around 24, 25, okay? And they work for the rest of their life, retire at the age of 65. That's ideal. Yeah. That is, that's what is expected from the society. But I would like us to look at things differently. Where we are going in a very different kind of world, you know. So it's very important we learn from mistakes or experiences of others, especially, let's say, our parents. Our parents really were guys who could work up to 65. That is basically no more.
That's true.
I don't really think at this age of time someone can say, I got my employment at this company, I'm going to retire at 65. You know, that is not anymore. So what are we going to do differently? Now, let's say someone has been employed at the age of 25. My perception or my take will be, retire in the next 5 years. Write your resignation letter, give it to your HR, and retire in the next 5 years.
Do you know how old I'll be in 5 years? What are you saying?
All right. Now, here is why.
Okay.
That kind of a thing you have done, first of all, you have conditioned yourself and your mind that you're not there forever. You're only like giving yourself a contract to work for that specific company.
Okay.
Or rather for that specific role. So from that alone, you will either work extremely hard to get promoted, to another position. Then from the new position, let's say after 2 years, you say, okay, fine, now I'm in a new position, let me now do another 5 years. Okay. Now, during that time you're doing that, you're also conditioning yourself that I'm not going to work in this company forever. I'll also be looking for other opportunities. And during that time, you also need to have what people call side hustle. Okay. But now side hustles have become like just a word people use. But basically side hustle is something which you're supposed to do outside your career, which can give you extra income at some point of time, might not be immediately, but at some point of time. And this should not be necessarily something which someone else is doing. You know, Kenyans, we have a problem of copying everything everyone does. As my friend here has just bought an Uber as his side hustle, guess what? I'm going to buy my Uber for side hustle. You see? So it continues like now the Uber business does not have a lot of money really in the long run because everybody's doing it. So come up with your own unique stuff which you're going to do as a young person. Look for a talent, something passionate about. You can do it at home. You don't even need to be actively involved sometimes. Some of them are online stuff. You can just sit and do your online stuff. If it's videos you post online on YouTube and stuff like that, you get likes and something like that. Just come up with something different. Now, that one you can do it later after your work. Okay? Now, you can even call that your retirement plan because that can build you a home. Remember, your salary can't do much for yourself. It will only provide you the necessary stuff.
That's as honest as it gets.
Exactly. Yeah, so basically that will be my check for the young guys on how they can approach retirement. And if you can remember the first session of the show, all of us have been talking about something which is different. We have not mentioned money anywhere. We've been talking about health. It's very, very, very important for you to take care of your health. Very important. It's very important for you to really, Mom has really emphasized on that. And it's very important to you really watch what you're doing, what you're eating, your activities. Most guys who do 8 to 5, they hardly have time to either walk around, run around, they are just seated somewhere. So what can you do extra to just make sure you take care of your health? Because if you're healthy, when you retire, you won't have lifestyle diseases, right? You can come up with something else. You can go and do your greenhouse at home and you're actively involved in stuff going on. And you find yourself living longer than others. Now, for the fact that we are not going to be living for a pension, like our parents, we need now to come up with a pension plan separately, as you go on with life. I'll pick up with those later, other tips. So,
why do you say we won't have pension? I'm curious.
Well, you see, pension has been let me just put it this way. For pension, it keeps you in a way that you think, okay, fine, if I retire, I still have a salary to take care of myself. Now, during the time you're working, remember you work for 40 years, From 25, let's say retire at 65, that's 40 years duration of your employment. You're just employed, working for someone, working for other people. I'm telling you the truth. By the time you retire, you actually have zero knowledge on what to do in this world. You're just wondering, okay, what is going on here? People are busy. You are so confused.
I can't tell you what Grace did, but okay.
You see, Grace is a very special and a different person. At her age, she says she feels for the elderly. She feels for the elderly. She's still young.
That's true.
Right? Remember when she told us when she did her master's? She's still very young. Because she thinks differently. Her thinking is totally different. Now we're talking about the majority people, or rather the average people, how they think. Now, when you retire after 65, at 65 and you're done with your profession, whether it was doctor, whether it was banking, whatever it was, you realize when you go outside there, people don't think like you, okay? And actually the people whom you meet think totally different.
Okay.
So you start now thinking in weirdly and now waiting for your salary at the end of the month in form of pension,
okay,
which also has an expiry date, all right?
Okay.
So what happens when it goes down?
Okay, I hear you. Let me get to Gertrude, but before that, hi, loving the conversation. My grandmother's cooking cannot be replaced, and I now cook the way she does. What the elderly do in helping to mold their grandchildren is priceless. We love them dearly. That's from Jed. And we also have Ndongo. You're watching from Gilgil. Thank you for that as well. Appreciated. If you have any comments, keep sending them on on WhatsApp. Appreciated. Thank you even for that comment that I can't read on air. Thank you. Let me ask you, you're in the service, and I call it service because beyond the money, it really is service, where you help take care of those who are sick, but then it's customized. You go to their homes.
Yes.
So in those situations, do we know, us as the active people, do we know how to take care of them? Because it's very easy to say the doctor will come, Shosho go to the doctor, Shosho do that. But do we know how to do it?
Okay, there are two scenarios. If we look at the elderly as just, growing older, that's not as complex as someone who has past medical, a past medical condition or an ongoing medical condition.
Okay.
The first one of the elderly, as in we grow older, we come in especially when there's nobody, the elderly or the aged person does not have anybody to assist.
Okay.
And there are two scenarios. A lot of children these days are leaving the country. So you're talking about diaspora. And it's exactly what Grace has said. You find that this aged person has been left there for a long time, even a year. So we see a lot of neglect, And I think we've gotten to a point where at least the young have recognized that they can't depend on the neighbor, the relative. So they are more comfortable by saying, okay, fine, who offers the services? That we make sure my dad, my grandmother, my mother is really well taken care of.
Okay.
Because a lot of them start having this Alzheimer's, dementia, you're talking about diabetes, and as they get older and older, they forget. So even when you can call them and ask, but have you taken your medication today? And I'm not too sure. So who do we have? We need to have somebody who is trained, who understands what needs to be done.
Okay.
Then there's the other scenario of they have an ongoing medical problem. So what happens? We need to either send a nurse, it really depends what the condition is. And the doctors always guide us. They always tell us, okay, 1, 2, 3. So we either have an assistant nurse going there, or we have, a registered nurse going there.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's two different scenarios, and each has to be, we determine after an evaluation. So we always go home, evaluate, and then we come back to the family and say, okay, this is what we recommend.
Okay. Before I ask Grace another question, let me just follow this up with you. Do we have the capacity to have proper retirement homes for the elderly? Do we have the capacity to do that, or do we have to wait for the private sector to do that? She sighs.
I really do.
Okay. Okay.
Because I always say Kenya has so many unique considerations. As a society, we like, or rather we say, homes are for the people who can't look after their own. You know what I'm saying?
There's that stigma, yeah.
There is that stigma. It shouldn't be there because of the way life is moving on. But if I was to say, I put my mom in a home today, everybody would be like, wow, Gertrude, what happened? You can't look after mom? So it's a scenario where people don't really welcome homes very well.
Okay.
So you find that the little homes that are there, We don't talk much about them, and it's maybe for a selected group.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can see that.
We try to encourage, for those who can, we really try to encourage, if you can look after your mom, your dad in your home, we really encourage that.
Okay.
You get much better. There is no care that is better than in your home. Yeah.
Okay.
Even just that familiarity, you know. I always say depression sets in so fast, you know, with the elderly. Even for you to take them to a home, the dynamics change very quickly. You know, they you know, even assimilating is not easy.
Okay.
So I always say if you're not in Kenya, if you're not at home, it is even better to have the service in the home,
Okay.
your dad's home, your mom's home, you know. It's better to do it that way, you know, than to have them in, you know,
check into a home. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting because the movies make it look so nice. It's like, you know, they are reading.
Yeah, but then remember
the
dynamics of first world countries.
Yes.
We haven't gotten there. Even
Okay.
the mindset, we haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
And in as much as we get a lot of queries coming up, you know, but do you have the homes? Do you have the homes? We're taking our time getting there.
Okay.
Just because we really haven't gotten there yet. I think maybe our generation will be a bit different.
Okay.
But for now, our parents, our grandmother, that would be almost like I am sentencing her to, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's not, I wouldn't say that would be my first option.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hear you. Grace, what do you think of, say, me taking my grandmother to a home? I'm curious to know what you think.
I would think just the way she says.
Yes.
We are not there yet.
Okay.
And it's not even the matter of not being there yet. It is the matter of the mind. When you take to your old person to a home, they think about death. Or they are tired of me, now I can die. They want me to go there and die.
Okay.
So it won't look very good. As long as we can look after them, I would advise to look after them.
Okay.
If we are not around, as she says, there are home nurses these days that are employed, and you leave them with your old sick person at home, and they really do a good job.
Okay.
Even when any person, not even an old person, when we have patients in hospital and the doctor thinks it is terminally ill disease, it is good to send them home.
Okay.
Because at home, they would die in peace. Where you see your people around, where you, for us grandmothers, you go home, you see your grandchildren around, your children come, and so on and so forth. The mind is always peaceful, no matter how sick you are, other than dying in hospital. So usually the doctors advise families or relatives to take people home. But sometimes people don't understand why.
Yes.
They say, now, look at this. They say that this person is very sick and they are telling us to take them home. The doctor knows why they are sending them home.
Okay.
Because they will be much, much better there than being in hospital.
Okay. There's somebody who sent in something, and thank you for this because I can bounce off it. I was going to ask, does it help if you send family? And they've said, hi, Family TV, I like your programs. Oh, thank you. Appreciated. I follow them oftenly. They are so real. About today's discussion, what if the parents are making the home inhabitable for the children to visit? What is the way forward? So before we get to that, let me ask you, do you think it's okay to send maybe their grandkids over the holiday to go be with their grandparents?
Absolutely. The grandkids actually brings a lot of joy to the parents, all right, to the grandpas and moms, because when they see that, they see their blood, they see the extension, and they feel a lot of happiness when they see them running around, you know. And also, we also need to remember that when our parents are aging, they become more like children at some point, right? So they embrace that kind of environment when they see the young people. Now, also for the young guys, it's important for them to go home, right? Visit their parents. They need to know where they came from. They need to attach with their roots and stuff like that.
Yes.
So that's also when they are growing in the cities, they also need to know what happens on the other side of the village.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see why that is important, because sometimes the life in the village will shock a child, or they grew up in Nairobi, then they go home at 10, you know, they're very confused. But let me ask you to this question. What happens if the parents at home are not making it, you know, easy for you to take your kids home for various reasons, obviously? What do you do?
Well, you can't really insist. If the parents, I always say the biggest thing that sometimes we fail, we don't respect, you know, certain desires or requests, you know. You always have to try to find out also why. Yeah, maybe they're not feeling well. Maybe their patience is due to, you know, whatever. Maybe too much work, or maybe they're not feeling well, or something, then an underlying factor. But what I was going to add to George, send your kids, yes, by all means send your kids. Where I differ is where you send your kids and then you dump them there, and then you go back to Nairobi or wherever you're going, and then you leave that.
The parents to take care of them.
Yeah, because remember, they're aged. You have to also respect that there are certain things they can't do. And yes, our kids, we love them. So, you know, sometimes they do all sorts of things and we find it cute. But it may not be cute to the person who gets tired very easily. Or doesn't look cute if, you know, the child is running towards a dangerous place and the aged person can't run after them.
Okay.
So you need to send your kids. If you decide that you want to send your kids there, but you're not going to be there, at least send somebody to help. You know, there's got to be someone to help, because I've seen it, and I've seen it, and I've seen it. You know, the holidays come and you bundle up the kids and you rush them. You know, these guys are spending too much time on electronics. Must learn a lesson in the village, you know? So we rush them there. We spend a day or two and we're like, we need to get back to Nairobi. What do? We leave the kids behind. Whose headache is it?
The grandparents.
The grandparents. Yeah. By the time you're coming back to pick up those kids, they've had it.
Okay.
You know, the blood pressure is at an all-time high. So you need to do it with some form of, there's a thought process. You know, we need to identify, okay, how old are our parents? What are the capabilities? Who is with them? You know, so you think about what you're doing before you just rush those children.
Yes. Okay.
There is also another aspect.
Yes, Grace.
Of the children.
Yes.
Send your children to the village, but for what period of time? To me, those parents who send their children to the village the whole of the holidays are irresponsible.
That's true.
Okay.
Because these kids have been in school. You haven't been seeing much of them. Now, they come to the holiday. You send them to the village. When are you bonding with your kids?
Okay.
Because you should have time to bond with your kids. Yeah. That's why we find parents don't know their kids.
It's true.
You are told your kid did this, you don't know about your kid. Because to bond with your kid, you must be friends. From the beginning, when they are young. And when you are friends, Your kids will chat with you, you will chat with your kids, and your kids will tell you everything. When we find children going to school, primary school, I hear these days, even primary school children are taking drugs. This is disastrous. Now, if you bond with your child, your friends, and your child is introduced to drugs by another child, they will surely come and tell you. But if you are not friends and you are not bonding, they will not say anything.
Okay.
They will believe their friend and they take into drugs. That's why we should stay with our children.
Okay.
I've talked a lot about against people. First of all, taking your child in primary school to a boarding school. It is disastrous.
My mom is watching this show.
It is disastrous.
Okay, we have about 3 minutes, so I think I'll just give each of you a minute. Wakishan, just ask you, what would you like to see happen? Even as this talk of a need for a mental shift in regards to how we look at the elderly people in our family, what would you like to see happen with us, people our age?
I think the most important thing I'll ask to happen is the mind change. Right? We need to change our perception on how we look at things. And we also need to remove some beliefs which have been planted to us over the years. Okay. I really don't think I should also expect my children to take care of me when I get older. I really should not be expecting that to happen at this age of time. Okay. Things are changing very, very fast, and we also need to have a different perception of things. People are not lasting so much in employment, so people need to have alternative ways of making money. All right, so mindset is the key, and also I'll still go back to the health. Let's also take care of our health. All right, I've seen young guys, passing on at a very early age. Okay, it saddens our parents when that happens, and it kills them. Actually, really. So those who are doing drugs, please. Take care of yourself.
Thank you for that. Mom, I'll give you the honors to be the last one, but Yashoda, what would you like to see happen in regards to the shift? There's something you said, the social homes that you said where they can go and interact with each other. That was such a brilliant idea.
And we're really missing that out. Really missing. It's amazing. There's so many people who keep coming, family members who keep asking, they are looking after their parents. But what happens during the day? Is there no place that I can, the driver can take dad or mom, or can I take mom or dad, during, we don't have those facilities, which is unfortunate. And remember, yes, we can sit with our dad and our mom, when we get home and we can talk. But at some point, they want to converse with their age mates. So for those who don't want to go back home, there are so many of them actually who are actually in Nairobi. And they don't know what to do. And it's really unfortunate, because it would be lovely, fantastic, if we could actually have, in just different zones, maybe Langata for the Karen, Langata, Gong, maybe in Westlands, for the people who are in Runda, just somewhere where people could come and just meet, sit down, talk, there's so much that they can do. First world countries, that's what's happening. There are a lot of people in first world countries that don't want to put their parents in homes, so they live with them. But they also need a bit of a break. Remember, they become caregivers.
Yes.
So we need to also appreciate that this caregiver needs also some time to replenish.
That's a whole other show. Mom, we have about 40 seconds. So what would you want to see with us do different for our parents?
I would want you to think of visiting your parents more often. Think of looking after them. Say, even if they don't come to Nairobi for that matter, that they are well taken care of, they are not hungry, they are well sheltered, and that will make life easier for them.
Okay.
Yes.
I hear you. Thank you, Mom Grace, for the honors.
Yes.
I totally appreciate you for coming through. Gertrude, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
You're
you
now
as well.
officially a friend to the family. Wakisha, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming through as well. And yeah, I'll leave it there. You just do what is right. You know what is right, and it's not M-Pesa, but you know what's right. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.